Hello guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. It's your handsome boy here, and okay guys, welcome to my page, welcome to my channel, welcome to Prime Feathers Poultry Farm. And says in your boy, and you guys can see my bird are still feeding. And guys, starting a poultry project or even a small poultry project, it's quite expensive, and mostly it depends with which type of poultry project you're keeping. If are layers or indigenous or even the broilers. And there's some things you need to consider when starting a poultry project, a small poultry project. Okay, the first thing you need to consider is the knowledge and the understanding of poultry. At first, you can't just jump into that, like you just wake up in the morning and be like, I just want to start this project. Like, no, you need to understand, you need to have the knowledge. Okay, the basic things about poultry, the feeding, the brooding, the rearing, all those things. Even about the biosecurity, the diseases, like how do you manage the disease in your farm. The second thing you need to know is about which type of poultry project you want to keep, like your direction. Okay, for some farmers, they decide maybe I want to start with keeping the indigenous, which are the kienyeji. Others will be like, I need to keep the broilers, which are made for meat, and these are they take 5 to 8 weeks to mature. Others are layers, the main types of poultry project. The layers, layers take like, it's 18, 16, it depends, 16, 18 to 20 weeks to maturity when they start laying. The third thing you need to consider when starting your small project, your poultry project, is location and space. These birds need a very quiet place where there's no noise at all. Okay, the reason why behind that is because exposing them to noise, it will bring stress on them, and which it will cause the reduction, like it will reduce the production in your farm. The same thing to broilers in the indigenous. Okay, another thing is accessible to clean water, because you need to give your bird deeply, like very, very, very clean water, because when you give a dirty water, it lowers the production. If you give clean water, it increases the production. The fourth thing is about the structure. For instance, here we talk about the coop. Okay, and on the coop, when constructing your coop, there's something you need to consider. The first thing you need to consider is the ventilation. The birds needs clean air. They always need clean air. The second thing you need, like, to build a good structure, which is well protected. You see, mine is protected with the roof and the mud. The reason why we do that is because we reduce. Because there are thieves, there are these, what do we call it, predators, the hawks, there are these dogs, ama sijui zinaitwaje hizi maumbo zinakulanga kuku, and rain, exposure, like our birds to be rain on. Another thing, when constructing your coop, you need to place the wood shavings. The reason why you do place the wood shavings in our structures, because wood shavings brings warmth to the birds. And most of the people tapata, they have the cemented floor, then they place the wood shavings on top. But for me, I didn't do the cemented floor, but I did place the wood shavings. The fifth thing you need to consider when starting your small project is the feeding and the drinking equipments. For instance, we have these quality ones, this one, but for me, I will advise my youths. There's these jerry cans. You can improvise them and use them as the feeding and the drinkers. And even the feeding, you can see this. It is built of wood. It is cheap comparing when buying this one, the feeder and the drinkers. The sixth thing to consider is the quality birds. Okay, here we're talking about buying quality chicks, buying quality birds, of like you need to learn of how vaccination works. And another thing you need to learn is about, you start with the small number. You can't start with the big number and you don't have the knowledge. You need to start with even the 50. 50 birds is the best, or even lower, so that you learn drastically. Slow by slow by slow. No need of you starting with 100 then losing all the birds. The seventh thing you need to consider is the budget. Me, I'll advise you guys, if you have 10,000 shillings, 6,000, start with that. Don't just like you're saving a lot of money to start with a big project. Start with the small thing you like, small money you have. If it's for 10 birds, start with that. If it's for 20 birds, start with that. If it's 30, start with that. And what I'll say, you buy birds which you can feed, you can vaccinate them, which you can keep them. Very, very okay. You can't buy 50 birds and your budget is like, you can't keep those 50. You're gonna lose them. The eighth thing you need to consider is the market, of which this is your customers. Where you're gonna sell your birds, where you're gonna sell your eggs. Because most of us, we start this project because we need profit. It's like our own business, our own side hustle, and you need to produce profit. So you need to consider where you're gonna sell. Maybe if you're doing broilers, your meat, which are the hotels, the big hotels. The same thing to layers, small kiosk, your neighbors, even still big hotels. The indigenous, their meat and their egg is very premium and it is very expensive. It's very expensive. Still, there's market for them. So guys, that's what you can consider when starting a small project. So kindly guys, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, follow my page, like, comment and share. As we said, we learn from each other, and I'm happy when you grow and I know you're happy when I grow.